During the 2020 offseason, 5 NFL teams made changes at head coach. Of those 5 NFL head coaches, the only one that has a winning record right now is Kevin Stefanski at 5-3. The other 4 have a combined record of 9-26. Pete Smith of Sports Illustrated broke down Kevin Stefanski so far this season. He says for all it takes about the roster and individual players, the most important might be that Kevin Stefanski has not only proved himself a capable head coach in the NFL, but is better than at least half the league. Despite being a rookie head coach in a unique season due to COVID-19, the situation has never been too big for Stefanski, and there is yet to be a point where he's made a truly bad strategic decision. Nobody thinks of Stefanski as a rookie coach or a coach trying to learn while on the job anymore. The reality is he will continue to evolve and improve. For now, the focus for Stefanski is making the playoffs, which is an impressive feat, even with the amount of talent the Browns have on their roster, as well as what has become a forgiving schedule. So, Les, Bud, when you look at Kevin Stefanski so far, with what he's done with the Browns, what stands out for you the most?
A lack of chaos.
Yeah, that's a good one, Les. I mean, that's certainly something that jumps out at you. You know, I looked when I talked to Brian a little earlier today and knew that we were going to discuss Stefanski. I looked at the most penalized teams in the league, and last year the Browns were the 4th most penalized team in the league. This time they're not, as high as I thought they would be. They're in the low 20s out of 32 or whatever. But it's part of what has impressed me is that you don't see them sabotaging themselves through stupid mistakes, through illegal motion calls, through face masks very often, through dumb plays where they get a personal foul penalty after a play is already over. Those are the kinds of things that happened under Freddie last year, and I think that's been an improvement. Now, the other thing I think he's done is he's taken a team that didn't have a lot of time together in the exhibition season, and he's established an identity, and he did it in the first couple weeks of the season. We're going to be a run-centric team with an offensive line that he's going to challenge to move the defensive line and keep picking up first downs. And I think until the Chubb injury, they were clearly on their path to maybe leading the league in rushing.
I'm wondering if Freddie Kitchens were still here and the season played out this way, if there would be columns like that where he's that good and it's a talent-filled team for a new coach. And I'm wondering if people would think that if Freddie was still coaching here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I do think what Pete said I generally agree with. I do think that what distinguishes him from those other 5 coaches might be the talent that he has inherited, because I still thought this was a more talented team than it showed last year. But I think it's clearly a guy who knew where he wanted to go as a head coach when he coached his first game. And I think a lot of these other guys have been feeling their way around. And maybe there'll be other bigger challenges for him to face in the future. I don't always assume that if a guy shows himself to be a good organized head coach in the first 8 games, that means he's going to have a 10-year career as a head coach in this league.
No, I don't think there's any study on that.